this exactly went. I was in the office working for my dad, and someone came in, I don't remember anymore who it was, and they said, hey, the World Trade Center, a plane just flew into it. It was a horrendous accident. And I was like, no, wait, it was like 9 o'clock. And I had to be at class at 9:55 at Kent, so I had to leave the office by 9:15. So I went out to my car, and I turned on the radio to hear what was happening, and the second plane hit.
I was home, which was in New Jersey at the time, and my cleaning ladies were there. There were 2 of them, and my radio was on, and one of the gals yelled to me, Pat, something's happened, something happened. And we turned the TV on, and the 3 of us just stood there watching together, and 3 of us hugged, cried. What can I say? I mean, and we just stood there watching that TV for about 20 minutes together.
I just got off of work, and I just went home, and I seen all the stuff on television, and it didn't even seem real. It was like a movie or something. But then when I found out it was just so tragic.
I was here alone with my baby, who was 1. Turned on the TV, and it was crazy. Like, right when you turned on the TV, you saw the building, like the top half of the building. And I was like, oh my gosh, what is going on? Because, you didn't know. And then I'm watching, trying to figure it out, and that's when the next plane crashed.
I was at work, sitting behind my desk, and somebody called or came over and said, turn on the TV. And we had a TV in the conference room right across from my desk. Turned it on and watched it like, oh my gosh, you can't believe that this is happening.
And I forget who it was, called me and said, hey, turn on the television. They're captured planes and threatening to run them into Washington.
Washington?
To go to Washington.
Oh.
And then the very first thing I did after that, because somebody called me and says, we may be short of gas, you better go get your car filled up. That's what the second thing is.
I was actually at work. It was my last day of work at that job. And I think they just made an announcement over the loudspeaker.
First saw it, to believe that could happen here. It was really shocking. It brought tears.
I listened to it all day on the radio, and then that night I went to my parents' house and I saw the images. So I didn't see them till a good 8 to 9 to 10 hours after it had happened. And the images, the image that has always stuck out in my mind was they had live footage from the day earlier, and they had people jumping out of the buildings. And that has always just severely disturbed me, because those people were on their way to their death, and that just, I don't know, that's always really scarred me.
Couldn't believe it. I mean, it was like unbelievable, something that you'd never dream of.
I couldn't believe it, I guess. I was just mortified. I mean, it was like horrible.
Well, I didn't really see it live, so I saw it on tape. Just shocked and angry, I guess.
I was totally sick to my stomach. I was pregnant, and I had a baby, and I couldn't believe I was doing this to the children. I was bringing children into this crazy world.
I was listening to it when it happened, so I got scared. I was 19 years old, and I was terrified that there was an actual invasion from another country, and that this was going to be like a full-scale war on our own soil, and that I was terrified.
I couldn't believe they were doing it again. Where was somebody to protect these people? It was still shocking, and can't believe they're hitting the second tower. How'd they get away with it? You were uptown getting gas.
Yeah, I was.
Did you watch it on TV?
I watched parts of it, yeah. Of course, it reran.
Then I wanted everybody I loved right by me. Because you didn't know who was safe.
I have a son that goes into Manhattan, So I was, a little nervous. And my husband called me and says, "Did you know if Michael's in Manhattan today?" I said, "No, I don't know." And, I'm trying to call him, get in touch with him. And finally he got in touch with us about an hour or so later and told us he was okay.
I mean, it was like, I couldn't believe that another plane, it was absurd. It was unheard of.
The thing that I remember most about that day was the fact that I was bringing children into this crazy world. I was scared to death. I walked around shaking all day long. Well, it was probably more than a day. And I remember never seeing a plane for ever.
There I was with my 2 cleaning girls, hugging and crying. I mean, how could you ever forget where you were and who you were with at that moment?
There was a woman with my boss, and she came out and came down the hall, and she had a friend that was in the towers, and somebody she worked with, so that was difficult. And this person I didn't know her at all. We're hugging because, what's happening to, it not only was happening at the World Trade Center, it was happening to us.
I figured, here we go again. This is going to be a war.
And just really the images of everything that went on, I can't really forget them.
The grotesque images, just and everything. And then I think, too, the images of the footage. I didn't like, I've always kind of since then really monitored TV watch because I felt that it was uncensored and that they did not need to be showing half the things that was, but they're the people walking in the dust and they had the dust all over them. But part of that was people, because people, I don't know, I didn't like the images and I, to this day, still stay away from the images.
Thinking about all those people that lost their lives, and some of them didn't even know what happened. They didn't get a chance to even think. It's just gone.